G'day, this is Captain Noob, and this is a 10mm submachine gun. This particular design of 10mm SMG was introduced back in Fallout 3 in 2008, wherein it provided players with an automatic route to use their 10mm rounds when they feel like their 10mm pistol is slowing them down, particularly in the mid-game. This thing will be a nice stepping stone from 10mm pistols to SMGs to your assault rifles and the Chinese assault rifles. So sort of an early to mid-game weapon this was. It wasn't a bad weapon at close range, had a pretty high rate of fire. It also featured in Fallout New Vegas, where you could attach some things to it, including extended magazines and the recoil compensators should you have the Gunrunner's Arsenal DLC. It was also improved by the way you could utilize the different 10mm round variants that are in the game to give you a little bit more versatility, but ultimately I didn't really rate it because the versatility that you get out of the 10mm rounds, well, there wasn't any armor piercing, so you'd find that you'd just be, shooting at tanks with this thing and not doing a whole lot of damage. Curiously, this thing was absent from Fallout 4, and the way I've theorized it is back in the day I was thinking that this thing, it just didn't have to exist because the 10mm pistol in and of itself had its automatic variant, which would fill that sort of same 10mm auto role, so why would this thing need to be in the game? And I think I've heard over the grapevine, it may not be true, but they didn't have a lot of time to sort out the weapon, so maybe this is one of those cut weapons that they just didn't have time to put in, but it made its triumphant return into Fallout 76. And if you've ever played that game and utilized a 10mm pistol in Fallout 76, this one's pretty spot on of what the design would come to be, including these weird wires at the back, which powered something. I'm not sure what exactly they do, but they're there, and they're exposed wires, so if there's any electronic components that is susceptible to getting damaged, then, that's not good. Luckily, I've got no electronics stacked on this thing as of yet. No batteries either. What's with these wires? Can someone tell me what the hell is going on with these wires? It's really weird. The attachments you'll find are very similar to that of Fallout 76. So you got the receivers. You go for the powerful receiver here, give you 75 damage. But the rate of fire on this thing is subpar. The really good thing about the 10mm sub in Fallout 76 is got a higher than average rate of fire. It's not being replicated here. In fact, it's the other way around. This thing is going to be slower than basically any of your standard vanilla game automatic guns. 10mm pistols, combat rifles, assault rifles, handmade rifles. This thing's going to be firing slower unless you throw on the rapid receiver, which will give you a heavy damage penalty compared to if you were to chuck on a powerful receiver. We'll throw that one on for the maximum damage, but not a good start. Looking maybe for sort of a mid-game weapon in its Fallout 4 incarnation at the moment. Now, you might notice that these barrels are very similar to that of the Fallout 76 ones, but it also includes a suppressed barrel. Isn't that nice? Now, I'm going to cut my range off a little bit. It's actually going to be a very close range submachine gun now, but we can get Ace Operator, and we're getting 94 damage out of this now, which isn't too bad. That's nice. And you can throw a stock on this thing, so you can have the short one, which is just no stock at all, a wire stock, an improvised one, which actually has the batteries there, wrapped within the stock, going into nothing. They don't make battery-powered submachine guns. Surely this thing would just be gas-powered, right? Just use the energy in the cartridge and the recoil to rechamber the rounds. They didn't do that. Did they all break down in Boston? That's why they're not using them these days. And you can also grab a recoil compensating stock, which is more of your tactical M4 looking stocks that you'll see on a Fallout gun. And just like Fallout 76, you can throw drum magazines on this. That'll increase the ammo capacity to a substantial amount, so we'll throw that one on. And curiously, this one's actually got a front sight. Hooray! So you can actually use iron sights when it comes to using this thing. Now, the iron sights aren't actually that good. There's a variant here that'll actually increase your vision, or field of vision, or just visibility in general, using the iron sights here, just large sights, that's helpful. There's also a reflex sight variant as well, which adds a tiny little Picatinny rail, kind of, and that appears to just be a 44 Magnum reflex sight attached to the top, which suits the submachine gun quite well. Also a legendary effect provided by Legendary Modification. Tempting. Two-shot would be pretty cool. Powerful would be nice. Furious. Bloodied if we're going for a low health build. Just kidding, we don't do that in Fallout 4. We're not crazy. We've got to look after them. They'll turn into ghouls or something. Now, I'm going to create a couple more of these, but yeah, we're going to start shooting things. Our journey begins just outside of the mass fusion containment shed. It's an irradiated hellhole filled with ghouls, probably just on the northern bits of the map. We've got General Atomics Galleria close by. There's 10 Pines Bluff, so pretty easy place to get here, but if you want to go here, make sure you bring plenty of rad meds, lest you become a ghoul. So you want to go through the front here. There's a boss chest hidden around the back, which you'll be able to grab a unique variant of this 10mm submachine gun. Mind the ghouls are everywhere. The way you want to do is go up here. This is the room you want to get into, but the only way to unlock that is through a terminal, which is locked at Novice. Hackerman, let's go.
Got it.
Doors are open now. We can hear them open down below, so we'll jump down and walk right in. There's also a button here, so if you want to lock like Piper in here and let her become a ghoul instead of yourself, then that's fine. And if you go by these barrels and around the corner here, you'll find Withered Feral Ghoul. He'll kick your ass if you're not ready, but you'll find Bedtime here. It's a Furious variant. Hell yeah, okay. We're going to be flogging that for the rest of the video, I think, but yeah, I did check. There's also ways to get it at a vendor, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this thing has been specifically balanced for early to mid game, which is odd because you've got the same like 10mm pistols firing the same cartridge, but they'll be doing more damage. Hang on, I'll show you. Oh look, as it turns out, I was actually wrong. The 10mm pistol is actually inferior, so yeah, this thing does slightly more damage. But this thing's got a higher fire rate, so you might find the DPS on the pistol to be better, but I suppose you could call this one slightly more efficient. But this thing's got more range, like a little bit more range, and it's going to be completely silent, and it's a lot lighter too, so although it's not doing more damage per bullet, there's multiple benefits to this one that you'll be missing out on if you use a 10mm sub. Get out of here. Alrighty, welcome back to the Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here is our 10mm submachine gun in first person. That's what it sounds like when you're firing suppressed, and when you fire unsuppressed, they sound pretty similar, don't they? Also, it reloads like a handmade rifle. I think that's what they did with the Fallout 76 variant, and it works pretty well if you just ignore the rocking the magazine back into the weapon like an AK would, but don't worry about it. And here's another one that I made. This one's got a longer barrel. The recoil is... it's like left to right all over the place, but there's no vertical, so it's going to be a little bit unpredictable. Perhaps... a close range weapon only. This thing has a pretty good amount of range though, so I might be able to utilize it in VATS to have a good effect. And last of all, here's Bedtime. It's a reference to Sleepy Time. That was one of the uniques in Fallout New Vegas. It looked a little bit like this. This one here, the recoil compensating, or the... yeah, it looks like the recoil compensator from Fallout New Vegas, but it's not quite that. Got the rapid receiver on this one. Also replaced the receiver with a rapid one on our Furious variant as well. The rest of them are just the most powerful ones we can find. Let's get started. Now, I don't think this is going to be an especially powerful weapon to utilize here at Immersive Gunners Plaza, but we'll give it a shot. Why not? We'll even throw some criticals down range. And hopefully we roll some good RNG numbers, right? Well, ow, I just got shot. How dare they? We'll probably go a lot better if they come closer, but... yeah, we're going to be struggling a little bit. That is a huge Idiot Savant proc right there. Try to make use of that a little bit while we can. I suppose I could just, like, tap fire. Is that going to make it faster? They're still out of range of this thing. You can tell because... okay, now they're creeping slightly in. Watch those odds get a little bit better as they inch slightly closer. You'd think it'd be a little bit more forgiving in VATS being a lighter submachine gun variant of weapon. But now that they're creeping a little bit closer, it seems to be doing a better job at least. But getting multiple hits on a target up close, yeah, this is definitely designed for a closer range deal, because if we're not doing sneak criticals, oh boy. Alright, let's move on to the second one. Rapid receiver, baby. Let's outpace that. Outpace that stim pack. Maybe I could have used the true damage mod. At least utilizing these sights here, I'm doing better for AP usage. Now, the problem with these sights, like, they still get in the way, and I blink and my magazine's gone. perhaps the rapid receiver here wasn't good, and I'm seeing a lot of stuttering. It's odd, I don't usually see that. Maybe we'll go over to this one. We'll have a little bit more range on this one. It's going to be slightly more efficient in that. So that's favorable odds to hit them in the face. Huge waste of a critical there. But at this stage, I think the weapon itself is punching well above its weight. As a early to mid-game weapon, as I chase a gun of Phantom around there. I mean, it's doing an okay job, but you definitely wouldn't want to take this to immersive gun supplies unless you got a 16 followers utilizing this weapon to have fun using it with you. I still don't know what's causing all of this stuttering, but I'm gonna blame the mod because it wasn't happening before, damn it. Oh, good. A nice distraction has shown up. It covers my reload there. Also does a lot of damage to him. That's not too bad. I'll be hitting Nerd Rage pretty soon. If I could bury myself in a group of enemies, that might do me pretty well. And let me just use my bullet time. That's here to activate a critical. Alright. It might be time. I think it's time. I'm going to go over to our suppressed one. Go close range. Okay. Now it's showtime. Right. Oh, no, I leveled up. I immediately got pulled out of Nerd Rage. Well, what can you do, eh? Let's go close range and shoot them in the face. Never mind, we're out of AP. We used it all on bullet time, bats. Well, at least we're getting a little bit of stagger from the Commando perk, but we're certainly bullet sponging it up here at Immersive Gunners Plaza, I'll tell you that much. I think it's living up to its role as a close-range blaster, though. Like, I'm getting pretty easy headshots. They're not dancing around too badly if I run up to their faces and hip firing it. I just wouldn't mind a little bit of extra rate of fire, just to give you that little bit extra DPS. Like, damage per bullet is not too bad at the moment. I just think we could be doing slightly better in terms of how fast we can take out enemies on account of how fast we're shooting bullets. Okay. I think it is time for the sleepy time. Now, the good thing about utilizing a automatic Furious gun is that it'll stack up its damage nice and quickly. I probably should have put a drum on this thing in retrospect, but what can you do, eh? Stop it. No. One of these gunners might be utilizing it. Wow, that is some VATS Ruffy missing right there. Yeah, I think one of these... No, stop it. There we go. Let's go for a bunch of torso shots, even though we're out of AP again. I think I'd have better chance of hitting them back here with a combat shotgun, to be honest. There we go. So perhaps maybe going for a more stealthy approach would be more survivable. Yep, I think that much is obvious. When I sometimes I just shoot this thing, it just stops. It just stutters a little bit. What I wouldn't give for a little bit of extra. Oh, it's so painful watching those bursts just go harmlessly into the ground. I think we hit 2 bursts out of like the 7 that we actually confirmed there. We're back into Nerd Rage at this point, but there's only a few gunners left. Let's prioritize the ones that are close. You know, it's always one thing. If it's not the technical problems of my mouse randomly disconnecting, it's nonsense like the whole game stuttering. God damn it, Todd. You know what? He probably knows that, like, there's not supposed to be any 10mm submachine guns, and he's taken unkindly to this thing being in the game in its present state. Now, I think I saw up there was only a little baby gunner, so we can knock his block off pretty easy. But we're going to have to come up with a pretty clever solution to get these guys in... Where are you running to? Is that a Molotov? Sure, I'll take that. That might help me a little bit. Hopefully I don't set myself on fire. Alright. We go back into caution. We can unlock this thing. Do the classic door breach. That worked. Well, that worked. No!
Who's
Falling
laughing
at the
now?
last hurdle. The grenade thing's still there. I think the 10mm sub put the fight up pretty admirably in that previous encounter, but it is obvious that we are making this thing do things that it's not designed to do. So, you know what, I'll give it a pass, but, you know, there's always the option to spruce it up with legendary effects or to adjust the damage to your lacking should you have the option to do that. Oh look, it's the vertibird. What a good distraction you were. I'm gonna shoot this guy in his torso. Let's throw the criticals in just to, you know, stop time a little bit more. And now we run after he's done his attack, and we lost absolutely 0 health due to that. Isn't that great? So obviously we're going to be using bedtime for this, because it is well past my bedtime right now. Who needs sleep anyway? Not me, man. I gotta do like real grown-up stuff, like pay off my car's reg. I'm not driving it every day, so I'm not driving it around with unregistered, but it's due. It's been due for a day now, so I should probably sort that out before I forget and then wonder why the cops pull me over if I haven't paid it off yet. Yeah, thanks for your help. So we did pretty well there, the Furious Effect carrying this thing over the line, but I reckon we could do even better. We'll go stealthily. It's bedtime stealthily. See, it's nighttime now, and we're gonna put this ghoul to bed, and we'll do so with our 10mm submachine gun, with stealth attacks and everything. This time, more emphasis on stealth attacks. It's a curious sound to make for a suppressed submachine gun there in slow motion. Ooh, almost. Let me just creep over here. There we go. Try to lure him a little bit closer, make sure I'm getting the most of my damage, but backing off enough to make sure he doesn't outright spot me. He's approaching. Let me just sneak this way. Okay, that's done well. He's over there now. I get plenty of ground for him to cover before he gets right next to me. And now we're in danger. Okay. Stealth has failed on this occasion, but I think at this stage we should be able to wear him down pretty fast with the furious stacks of damage that we've put up. Interrupted there by that Feral Ghoul Reaver that I decided to shoot at, but the job is done. So yeah, if you want something you can take into the end game, if you really like the 10mm submachine gun, then you can utilize this thing with the Furious Effect. You can kill pretty much anything. Anything in the vanilla game, you know, except for gunners at a rated difficulty that takes you half your damage away, you can do pretty well with. So even for a survival playthrough, you might find this thing would be worth using. But maybe I was expecting a little bit more out of this because the 10mm submachine gun in Fallout 76 just hits so hard. It's a very, very high DPS weapon. But at least you can put a suppressor on this thing. It just sucks that you can't extend the barrel out. I mean, the barrel is extended with the suppressor, but have an extended barrel and the suppressor just to take a little bit of range, or just retain a little bit of range as you are using this thing more stealthily. And obviously using a reflex sight and a suppressor combo would have been a more ideal solution like this one without the stock 4 VATS usage. But look, I think you get the idea. So that was a 10mm submachine gun from Fallout New Vegas 3, but most importantly Fallout 76, and as a weapon that hasn't been ported and is completely free and legal to get, go check it out. It's worth having a look. And if you are unhappy with the damage, then maybe you could suggest a buff, or perhaps the mod author could throw in a little bit of an extraneous damage slider so you can keep using this thing into the later to end game. But who knows? As it stands right now, the mod authors made it pretty clear that it's going to be a early to mid game weapon, so we're going to find it lacking when it comes to end game potential. But you know, as your characters growing in their levels from level 5 to sort of 10 onwards, you'll find this thing. I think it'll be worthy for any loadouts at that early stage. And with that, thank you very much for watching. Links in the description if you want. Thanks for watching. I already said that. Bye!